Hi, my dear friends, followers, wherever you are, in whatever part of the world, I welcome you to my channel. My channel is all about spiritual growth, Kundalini awakening, spiritual awakening, the holistic development, and laughter yoga, because that is what I am realizing what it means to integrate and come back into the optimal states of well-being. And that is what I'm getting when I practice laughter yoga. But today's video is going for you souls over there who are going through this process in the initial stages. This energy is your own energy field towards which we were not awakened earlier on. But once it is triggered and initiated in your system, you do not have any control over the way you were living your life earlier on. And the fear factor is jumping out from there because you will start experiencing symptoms which were very alien, about which you had never thought of or even had any referencing of earlier on. So your psyche is going through an upgrade. But before it could be upgraded, it needs to pull out the weeds from your system. So I would say that your fear is not a bad fear. It is just a perspective that you're going to attach to it that is going to help you manage your process in a better way. So just perceive that your fear is there to help you. Your fear is there to weed out, to take out, just like plants have weeds and we take those weeds out for the growth of the plant. Similarly, this fear, when it is looked at or looked through the lens of the positive viewpoint, you will understand that it is allowing you to weed out what is not needed in your system, what old stuff that you have acquired that is no longer needed for you to rise up and for your upgrade is not needed. The energy wants to help you to pull that out from your system. So the fear is coming from that resistance. Energy wants you to work on pulling out, but you are too much attached to your old ways of living. So basically your fear factor is that coming from that tussle, that war, that internal war that is going on between your own parts, the new and the old. So it requires a lot of reflection, and a lot of inner work is needed during this time. And the tricky thing is that you cannot do the inner work because your mind is racing and you're having all those fearful thoughts coming in. So how can you rest? How can you meditate? How can you move forward from there? That is where most of the people get stuck for long. So I would like to tell you that just take a deep breath in and relax during such moments. That is one thing that you would need to do essentially, because you're very ungrounded during such times. So if you can identify that you're going through this racing thoughts or panicky symptoms that are putting your system into a sympathetic overdrive, you really need to calm your system. That is the first step you can do to deal with the fear factor in Kundalini process, or in Kundalini awakening, or physical ascension. There are different names to it, or even simple as spiritual awakening. You may have these symptoms. It's very individualistic, very subjective. So the symptoms will vary from person to person. You have to engage in your own process. That becomes very essential in order to integrate the best essence of this energy. So that understanding will really expand your awareness and bring you in connection and relationship with your own integral process of spiritual growth that is happening to your Kundalini. Now, your fear factor is also pointing to the fact that your ego is facing a lot of resistance during this process, because ego is the main central point or the pivot in this process that is processing this process or resisting this process. So all the unhealthy parts of our ego will try to resist this process, because this is a process of change. It is a process of eternal change, because once this change will happen, it is organically happening as a part of your system, and there's no looking back, and it won't allow you to look back as well once it is initiated in your system. It is a powerful force of the universe that is operating in and through you, but we were not awake to it earlier on. So once it chooses to awaken itself in your system, you cannot look back. You have to move forward. So fear is stopping your journey of forward movement in this process. So the first thing that I told you is just acceptance with mindfulness. Deep breath in and relax and surrender to the process. That is going to move you forward in your journey. Otherwise, you're going to lie for a long time in that stuck loop. Your brain is going through big changes. These are the life changing processes happening, and it's going to change your life as well when you follow it through. This is a process of deconditioning, and it is also teaching you what true spirituality is. True spirituality is when you are unwinding the acquired beliefs and energy layers which were expecting you to behave or do things in a particularly structured way. And it is here that our creativity gets stuck, when we are operating through the acquired systems that are coming not through our own exploration as children, but they were pushed onto us in our cultures or through deep cultural viewpoints or parental shoulds and don'ts and do's, and where your heart was not given or your throat was not given the space to explore and be yourself as children. So there's a lot of stuck energy in our chakras that is kind of resisting this energy from moving forward, because we did not learn what it is like to explore our own sense of self with a sense of safety, and then make meaning of life accordingly. So this energy wants to bring you to that space, and that is the scary part, because we are operating from structured set ways of thinking and believing and living our daily lives. So our system of safety is coming from that space. So now there is a breakdown happening in this process. It won't allow you to now align to the old ways, because it wants to show you the truth. It wants to show you the truth of the universal principles. It wants to show you that it operates not like that, it operates like this, and you have to follow this mother's energy now. So you have to break free from the old energy you have acquired from your parental systems, which are not serving you any longer and which will not serve you. And you have to get rid of the old energy. It's like you're giving off your old clothes, your old skin, your old cells, the memory, your cellular memory old, you're shedding off. And it's not an easy process. It's not an easy process. I understand that. But there's no way that you can evade this process or jump over in a shortcut. You have to sit through the process, you have to live through the process, you have to acknowledge the process, you have to surrender to the process in order to integrate it fully, and in order to access your own wholeness, That is the purpose of this energy, to really bring you into your authentic truth, to speak the language, to operate from the throat that has integrated the truth of the universal principles, that understands, that sees what it means to be your authentic self, and explore and give meaning to your life from that position or that standpoint. So all the fear is coming is from the lack of new integration, that is new, that is trying to come into your force field, and the old ways of relating. So letting go is the key word here. Letting go of your old is giving rise to the fear that is coming from the resistance of not letting go of the old, because you do not know what to do. You do not know where to look, what is right, what is should, and what is shouldn't. Because this energy is not about shoulds and shouldn'ts, do's and don'ts. It's about flow. It's about creativity. It is about surrender. It is about acknowledging. It is about loving. It is about self-love. It is about learning that when you truly love, authentically love yourself, only then you are capable of loving others. Otherwise, your love is very conditional, and you are in that web of suffering that is coming from those conditional ways of living. So the suffering that we experience during the grief we experience during Kundalini process is basically, it's trying to break you free from the attachments, systems that are coming from do's, shoulds, don'ts, perfection, and all that stuff. So it is teaching you to be your own authentic self, be in the flow, no comparisons, no shoulds, no do's, no don'ts, but pure self-love. And what is pure self-love? That may not happen unless we are in the grip of fear. So as you begin to break free from the layers of fear by doing a lot of self-work, shadow work, inner work, and let this energy flow and rise through you, you will be growing in your spiritual understanding around your healthy sense of self. So that is one thing, that what is your ego like as you're growing through this process. So you will be shedding the old egoic ways of relating to the self and others, which was coming from the unhealthy lens of looking through shoulds and don'ts and comparisons and evaluations and judgments. And as you keep on working through these layers of fear and letting go of your fear in favor of what is to unfold, you will be going into the begin to put on that lens of creativity, love, light, rejoicing, laughter, and all the good stuff that your energy deserves, that each one of us deserve on this planet. The energy of peace, the energy of love, the energy of laughter, and the energy of self-integration. That is who we are, our connection with divine, our connection with that universe that we need to acknowledge and sense it and feel it, and let go of our unhealthy way of relating to the self, and through that relating to the others. So your fear factor is not a bad factor at all. Your fear factor is a very healthy factor. It is just what kind of glasses are you going to put on to look through your fear factor. Put on the healthy glasses and look at your fear factor as something that is trying to raise your vibration, that is trying to raise your way of looking at life, of experiencing your own self, experiencing your life on daily basis. So Sit with that fear, allow that fear to speak to you, befriend that fear, show some self compassion to that fear. Let that fear speak what it is afraid of. Because fear is often trying to protect you from something. And in Kundalini process, fear is trying to protect you from something new that you do not know much about. So, one way to deal with this fear is to befriend it and let it know that it is not in danger. You are not in danger. You trust the process that is unfolding is in your best interests. And let that fear talk more to you and bring to you anything that needs to be acknowledged in that particular situation you are in. There will be a lot of layers different for different people that will come to the surface. So do your inner work, acknowledge your fear as something healthy, not something that is trying to put you in an expanded loop of panic. Because if you do not treat your fear in that way, this energy is really intense and you're going to experience more fear. And if you get stuck in that loop, it's really going to be not an easy position to be in. So I do consult people who come to me who are stuck in these loops of fear and they don't know what to do. If you would like to get a consultation with me, you can approach me. The link is in the description box below, and some support is always helpful. I know that when you're going through this kind of process, it's always good to have someone to show you some direction or support you in your process. I've been through that and I know how much support can help you during such times when such intense process is working through your system. I wish you all the best wherever you are in your journey, in whatever part of the world, and stay blessed. Lots of love and light to all of you. Bye.